What is going on out there, peeps? All right, I was going to do a video this morning, but there was so much news coming across the airwaves here all at once that I thought it'd probably be better if I wait for a little bit longer because there is a lot of activities taking place. We're about to hit that right now. So look, as usual, you guys, we do have Pimpy's Investment Chat. It is a name, same name as my YouTube channel. It's free to come join us. We talk about the dinar, gold, silver, cryptocurrency. In here, it's free to join. For those of you who like the conspiracy side of things, we have the hidden things in front of your eyes right here. You guys can come join us over here. I have a link for both groups inside the description. So come join us. All right, so here we go. An American senator confirms that the strategic dialogue will help Al-Qademi with a very important file. Gee, which might that be? Member of the Foreign Relations Committee in the U.S. Congress, Democratic Senator Chris Murphy, stressed the importance of the strategic dialogue with Iraq. The United States should use strategic dialogue as a new beginning to engage with the Iraq government to create long-term stability in the country. And we know this. This is what's been going on since Al-Qademi has been voted into the prime minister's spot. He has been really crack-a-lacking on things and getting his ducks in a row. We also know and understand the importance of the stability in Iraq, especially in the Middle East. Okay, we know this. They are a pivotal place, Iraq is, in opening up trade all within the Middle East. So the talks represent an opportunity to help the new Prime Minister, Qademi, in dealing with corruption and achieving prosperity for a nation torn by years of, more like decades of war is more like it. So look, this senator's not telling us anything we don't already know. We do understand that, the importance of, the stability in Iraq. Here's a funny thing you guys might not know. There was an article written by Paul Ryan. It was an op-ed in which he thought it was important that the Iraq people should probably change the rate to help their economy. Gee, do you think Paul Ryan has Iraqi dinar? I'm not saying he does. It's not a rumor. I'm just throwing that out there. So, look, the Iraq-American Strategic Dialogue was launched yesterday afternoon, Thursday, via video technology. And it was decided to hold the second round of it in Washington during the month of July. So, we are already done with round one. Round two happens in July. I know a lot of you out there going, what does that mean? They're kicking the can down the road? We don't know yet, but all that matters and what you should be focusing on, we're probably closer now than ever before. What we're looking for is the United States and the United Nations to give Iraq back their sovereignty. For his part, Prime Minister Al-Qademi commented that Iraq, the dialogue, has achieved a great Iraqi achievement calculated for the government, and we emphasize in it the principle of sovereignty in the interest of Iraq first, and we succeed in achieving great results. Look, if he's feeling optimistic and upbeat about their sovereignty, you should be too. All right? This thing for everybody to rush. Some of you people have been out there in this game for a long time, 15, 16 years, man. So what is it if we wait another few days? That doesn't mean it isn't going to happen tomorrow. We don't know. But what I'm saying is there is a lot going on in a very short period of time. Washington considers dialogue with Iraq a chance for Al-Qademi to achieve prosperity for a war-torn nation. Sheesh, you think... I want you to think about this. Knowing what the Congress knows, knowing what our government knows, you don't think that some of these people aren't, or at least some of their family members, aren't holding Iraqi dinar? I would be willing to bet just about anything that you're going to find at a very minimum one person in there holding Iraqi dinar, but we know damn well it's way more than that. The U.S. Department reported on Friday that the Iraq judiciary suffers from the same rampant corruption that affects the rest of the Iraqi government joints. We know. We have it here in the United States. Our judges, our judicial system is they're activists. They're not judges anymore. In case you think I'm lying, take a look what's happening to Mike Flynn. And the thing he's going through by a Democratic appointed judge, it's just pathetic. So we got to do the same thing just like they do. We're doing here. They need to drain the Iraqi swamp. Okay, so the administration of President Donald Trump is concerned that the Iraq is not meeting its human rights obligations to detainees, according to the State Department assessment obtained by the American Journal Foreign Policy. So what's going on? The secretary and political situation in Iraq has left the judiciary weak and depends on other parts of the government. Yeah, we know we are going through it here. We're on the verge of a freaking civil war here. As a matter of fact, this civil war is happening. You just don't realize it yet. We haven't whipped out the guns, but we're about 2 steps from it now. It indicated that Baghdad suffered from a lack of competent judges, and it is accused of holding suspects associated with ISIS in isolation before the trial for months without contact with the outside world. Okay, that's not right. Look, just get in there, either prosecute them or don't. Crap or get off of the toilet. That's what it comes down to. So the United States now is focusing on, look, either charging people or get out. There's so much corruption right now that this isn't going to help with their push to be a sovereign nation. Corruption's one of the biggest things they need to get out of that country. If a United States does not feel like this is not happening in a judiciary level, I find it hard for them to want to allow Iraq to be a sovereign nation. So that kind of part does concern me a little bit. And anybody out there to tell you that the biggest part of this push for them to have the rate change isn't the fact that they need to be a sovereign nation doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. The sovereignty is the biggest part of what we're waiting for. The delegation of the Kurdistan government next week in Baghdad to complete the talks with 2 files. What are those 2 files? The delegation of Kurdistan regional government, headed by Talabani, deputy prime minister of the region, is expected to visit next week the federal capital of Baghdad. So again, we know this. We know that Kurdistan has been going back and forth with Iraq. They've been doing it for months. So what are the 2 issues? Does it talk about it? Well, he explained that the visits aim to address the oil and financial benefits file in the province budgets. Okay, we know that Kurdistan has agreed to send 250,000 barrels of oil to Iraq in exchange for them to pay for their salary. So, and then Iraq did cut that off, and then as a show of good faith, again, Al-Qademi has sent the money over before agreement was reached. Here you go. The Kurdistan regional government has expressed on numerous occasions and time its willingness to deliver the 250,000 barrels of crude oil per day in exchange for Iraq's government of funding of 450 billion Iraqi dinars in salaries per month. Well, let me go out on a limb here and say this. I could think of a way that would help them with that money. We know that if they increase the Iraqi dinar rate, it will help them with so many of these problems that they're dealing with right now. And again, this is the same article, just said in a different way. Okay, so here you have Barter warns of postponing the exit of U.S. forces to the last paragraph of negotiations. Okay, but you're an Iranian puppet and nobody cares what you have to say. But just in case you do, here's what he's saying. We're watching the negotiations very carefully, and we look at them closely. So we asked the delegation to decide the exit of American forces at the beginning of the negotiations, not to postpone and be manipulated by American pressure. We warned the government and the negotiation delegation. Well, here's the thing. Nobody cares what you think because it's already been spelled out by the people in Kurdistan that they know that without the support and American forces be there, then Iraq is going to have a lot of trouble, especially Al-Qademi, who's already had an assassination attempt towards him. I'll show you that here in a minute. A joint statement issued by the government of Iraq and the United States on occasion of dialogue between the 2 countries. Well, what is that? Based on a 2008 strategical framework agreement of the relationship and friendship and cooperation concluded between the Republic of Iraq and the United States of America. Strategic dialogue discussions were held through closed video meetings between the 2 parties. We know this. Okay, so look, what are we talking about here? The 2 countries reaffirmed their principles agreed upon in the strategic framework agreement. So, what this means is There is a plan. That's what a strategic framework agreement is. It's been put into place a long time ago. There is milestones that must be met. So if there's a plan, and it doesn't make a difference that Al-Qademi is there now, this plan was already in the works prior to Al-Qademi getting there. It probably ran into some obstacles and is now cleared itself mostly of those obstacles and is moving forward. I'm pretty sure that a big portion of that plan is to give Iraq its sovereignty. As a matter of fact, look, the United States of America reaffirms its respect for the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and relevant decisions of the Iraq legislative and executive powers. Okay, that's nice that you respect it, but you have to go ahead and allow Iraq to have their sovereignty. You have to recognize their sovereignty, and you have to do it by allowing them to have an internationally recognized currency. On economics and energy issues, the two countries have realized the enormous economical challenges facing Iraq in light of two pandemics, all right, which is the oil price war and Corona. Anyways, it's going to go on, and these articles are really long with a lot of great detail in here. As usual, I will leave the link so you guys can come in here and read it for yourself. Some of the things they're talking about is the security of the country. Can they stand on their own without coalition there, without the United States? Can they fight off ISIS or any other proxy groups that are out there, militia groups that are fighting on behalf of Iran? Can they withstand the pressure, political pressure, and power pressure of Iran pushing on Iraq to be with them? You know what I mean? Because one of the things I know for sure that Trump will not tolerate is the fact that if Iraq does not respect the restrictions and sanctions that America has put on Iran, and they start trying to do some willy-nilly things, this isn't going to help Iraq at all. Okay, so then you're going to end up in the same type of situation as Iran, and then we're just looking at longer delays. Anyways, it goes on to talk about it in here, and so I encourage you to go back and read it. Washington announces the most prominent outcome of the strategic dialogue in Baghdad. The U.S. State Department announced today, Thursday, the most prominent outputs of the strategic dialogue between Baghdad and Washington, which began actually on Thursday. The ministry confirmed its support for Iraq and international financial institutions, declaring that the Iraq government renewed its commitment to protect the American forces present on its soil. I do like where it says the ministry confirmed its support for the Iraq in the international financial institutions. Good. Let's get them out there. The ministry also indicated that the dialogue with Iraq discussed political security and economy, revealing the United States' pursuit of bilateral security agreements with Iraq, and the United States Department announced to Washington's counterpart to assist Baghdad in implementing these reforms. Yes, we know. We are so close, you guys. That's why sometimes when you read these articles, you know, there's so much mumbly-jumbly. Basically, just let me sum it up for you real quickly. What Iraq is saying, look, don't stay in our country, but don't go away. Stand by us to make sure we can stand on our own. You know what I mean? It's time to kick the training wheels off. Just see if we can pedal. Don't take off yet. At the same time, we're going to need some help here, and we're asking for a little bit of help. In order for us to be able to ride our bike down the street, which is give us our sovereignty, without you having a hand on our seat, we need you to recognize that we have the ability to do it. So first, recognize our sovereignty by letting go of this seat, and then stand by and see how we do. In other words, let us pedal on our own. Let's see if we fall down, okay? There's nothing wrong with you being the parent and guiding us. We understand that. But sooner or later, you're going to have to let the seat go on our bike to see if we can pedal without the training wheels. How does that happen? By recognizing us as a sovereign nation, recognizing our currency as an international tradable currency, once again, allowing us to trade on the Forex. That's what all these are really about. So let's go on here. The State Department official revealed the administration of his country confirmed its intentions to support Iraq to face the financial repercussions of the Rona and the decline in oil prices during a strategic dialogue between the two countries. We already know what they need to do. This isn't like brain surgery here. One of the things that could really help out Iraq is for them to allow them to change their currency, or at the very minimum, recognize their sovereignty, allow their currencies to be recognized internationally, and allow it to free float and trade openly on the Forex market. That's what we all want to see happen. And let's see how it goes. All right, you guys. So there is a lot of what's going on. A lot of it is, repetitive. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Al-Qadimi. I received reports of an assassination plot during his visit to Mosul. So I told you, see, even Al-Qadimi's facing possible assassination attempts. All right. So Prime Minister Al-Qadimi Thursday not to accept any attack on state institutions under any title, revealing security reports that a plot to assassinate him during Mosul visit took place. Reform measures and announced the continuation of a series of reform measures soon related to the finance and administration situation, stressing not to compromise the sovereignty of Iraq during the strategic dialogue. So that seems to be going on everywhere. Of course, there's been a couple attempts on Trump's life as well. That's not being very much talked about in the media. So this is what happens when people try to bring back the power to the people in their country. You're going to get pushback from the so-called globalists. They will find a way to keep that from happening at any means necessary. So Al-Qadimi should not be surprised when you're draining the swamp in Iraq, just like Trump is draining the swamp in America. You're going to have people who are against that and will do anything, including attempting to kill you, to keep that from happening. So let's keep our fingers crossed and pray for Al-Qadimi that nobody does assassinate him, because already in such a short period of time, Iraq has come a long ways. All right, you guys, that's where we are so far. Again, the news just continues to flood in, and we'll see where it takes us. But what we're looking for is Iraq's sovereignty. All right, I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.